horror fans, once again, it's the Horror Miser Monty G. Time to do a recap of last night's, I guess, ho-hum episode of The Walking Dead. Oh boy, here we go again. You know, it amazes me when we get these types of episodes of The Walking Dead. You would think after a somewhat pretty good episode, they'd come back with another, but they don't. Not to say some good stuff happens. There's some pretty good stuff that happened last night. Basically, this episode tells us what's happening to Hilltop in the 6 years after the apparent death of Rick Grimes. And we also see the new group. We see some stuff going on with them. And we also see what's been going up with Daryl since the 6 years has been going on. But let's talk about what's going on with Hilltop. What's been happening to them? And where's Maggie? Well, the one good thing we see with the Hilltop, it's booming. There's pottery, agricultural, metalworking, medicine, an outdoor laundromat that's powered by a guy riding a bike. We see blacksmithing. There's government and music. And guess what? Jesus is there. He's now the governor of Hilltop. It seems like Maggie left him in charge after she decided to go to the Commonwealth. And we see the letters that she's sending them over. She took Herschel, her baby, and they're supposed to be at the Commonwealth. And we also see him playing records as a gift by Georgie. Remember her? I guess people might have forgotten about her. She's with the Commonwealth. Probably deal with them another time right now. And Tara, she's serving as his liaison and mentioned about a noise complaint because she gave this kid a kazoo and all he does is blast it. That's the last thing you need to do is give a kid a noise toy. That's all you're going to do is make a bunch of noise. Now, despite Jesus deciding to do this as a favor to Maggie, he really doesn't want to be the governor of the Hilltop. But Tara tells him the people follow him, they love him. That's why he got reelected as governor during the elections. Yes, right, they have elections now. So everything's going fine for the Hilltop. Well, but what's going on with Michonne and everyone else and those new people? Well, we'll talk about them next. But before we get with Michonne and the new group, another thing that Jesus has been doing, he's secretly training Aaron how to fight. They have this little nice sparring matchup right there. And they're also secretly planning this big fair because for some reason Michonne has shut off Alexandria from the Hilltop and the Kingdom. And they want to have this big fair that they're planning. So they're meeting everyone in secret to try to get Alexander back into the fold. Meanwhile, Michonne is escorting the new people along with DJ and Sadiq to Hilltop. That's what Michonne is doing right now. They eventually get back to their, their stash, or whatever you want to call it, where they see that the thing has been turned over. It looks like it's been looted by somebody. We don't know who. There's some dead walkers around, and they killed them with efficiency. Later on that night, Michonne is hearing something, and she doesn't know what it is. Looks like someone has some type of a weapon, and she takes her katana and slashes it in half. However, it turns out it was just some type of very expensive violin. Apparently, I think his name is Luke. Luke. He believes that music will bring everyone back together because after everything that we've lost, music is the one thing that will bring people back together, which I thought was pretty interesting. But unfortunately, it doesn't bring any emphasis or lack of, even though it's acted very well and is very well written. But unfortunately, for this to appear right now, when we really don't know that much about Luke, once again shows the problems that The Walking Dead has. Had we gotten to know this character a lot more better, or have the character develop, perhaps his words would have more meaning to it, but right now it's just, okay, that's nice. Next. But one thing we do learn about the new group, they're pretty good at efficiency at taking down walkers, as the walkers are as the herd has come back, and Michonne finally allows them to get their weapons. We see Kelly and Connie. They have these slingshotters. I think Yumoka has a bow and arrow. She's pretty good at taking down objects, and Magda is pretty good at just picking up knives and any of the weapons and bash the walkers on it. Unfortunately, there's one walker that she hesitates to kill, and it turns out it's their friend Bernie. They mentioned earlier about this real loud, crazy shirt that he had that Yumiko sells, which gets on Magda's nerves. But unfortunately, he got caught by the walkers, and unfortunately, he's one of them. And she hesitates to kill him because she's so sad. But Michonne puts him out of his misery and stabs him in the head. Later on, as they're walking by, Michonne admits to the fact, yeah, I know how it is to love someone when we see two people from the hilltop come up and tell them that, are you from Alexandria? They mentioned to Michonne that they actually found one of those, and that was actually Rosita. Uh-oh. Remember Rosita and Eugene from last week's episode? Well, we haven't even heard about them until it's almost the end of the show. What about them? They head over and they find Rosita, who's has some type of gash in her head and she's dehydrated. She needs some water, and she said unfortunately she had to leave Eugene in a bar. And they finally take Rosita back, and they want to drop them off the hilltop. And by the time they get to the hilltop, Michonne is there. It is then that she realized that Maggie is no longer there. Now, obviously, something happened between Maggie and Michonne throughout the 6 year time jump, and we don't know what it is. But now that Michonne knows, they're going to go look for Eugene. At first, Tara wants to go, but Jesus talks her out, tells her to stay here. She says, "Okay, next time." So they're off to find Eugene. Now, fortunately, while everyone's doing their job, someone is standing there looking at them. Very evidently, it looks like a zombie, but they're looking and they're not saying anything. Uh-oh, the whispers are coming. Because as we saw in the early part of the episode, we don't know who that woman was. She was running somewhere, and you heard a bunch of whispering throughout the opening part of the episode. And we all know it's the coming of the Whisperers. And nope, I did not forget about Daryl. Gotta forget about Daryl. It seemed he shut himself off after Rick's apparent death. He lives out in the woods. He's just by himself, handling himself out. Doesn't want to be bothered by anybody. Carol and they spend the night out, but they see that he has some type of dog that he calls Dog, and he uses him to make sure to warn him if any walkers approach or get caught in the traps. It's a nice little scene, a nice little moment to see Carol and Daryl talking together again and see how his interactions with Henry. Now, of course, the walkers do come. Daryl almost gets bit by a walker, but he gets saved by Henry. And one of the walkers pulls himself out of the trap and nearly lunges himself and bites Daryl. But eventually, Henry saves him. But Carol basically wanted to bring Daryl back to Hilltop to keep an eye on Henry, which I thought was fascinating. So that's basically what happened last night. Not much really happened. Again, these filler episodes that I can't stand with The Walking Dead that they do, it seems like they don't know how to bring momentum off of a pretty good show last week and tried to build off of that. They tried to make us care for characters we really don't know about yet. Now, I understand most of the people know these characters from the comics, but people who don't read the comics don't know these characters. So if you're going to bring something heavy-handed like Luke's belief that music will bring the world back together, or we're going to have some part of the past, you want to make sure that we build this character up first. Now, I understand they're trying to do it to make Michonne, try to get Michonne some light, because she's essentially shut herself off after Rick's parents' death. But I don't think that's the way to do it. No, I did like the fact that you saw Magda's friend Bernie as a zombie, and they had to kill her. Now that was an effective way for Michonne to finally open up because of some of the stuff that she's going through in her life, but not that music stuff, Brack. I mean, come on now, let's try not to write stupid stuff in the show. We've already done enough of that last season. So, my horror fans, what do you think about last night's show? Did you think that this was just another filler episode? Did you enjoy the show? Are you ready for the whispers? Leave your comments down in your comment section below and tell me what you thought about last night's episode of The Walking Dead. Now, next week will be the mid-season finale. It'll be the last episode of the year for The Walking Dead. I'm pretty sure we'll probably get maybe glimpses of the Whisperers. Probably we might see a little cameo appearance of Alpha and Beta, and maybe something of Lydia. I don't know what they're going. I don't know how to do it, but it does look interesting to see how they're going to bring the Whisperers in. But I am looking forward to the mid-season finale because I am interested to see if they can correct the mistakes that they made last year with the all-out war and make something better for the Whisperers war. So my horror. Well, that's my video for today, guys. If you did enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up because it does help the channel out a lot. And once again, this is your first time here, please hit that subscriber button, ring that notification bell. That way you can come and enjoy the horror experience with me, the Horror Miser Monty G. And as always, all my social media links will be down in the description box below as well. Once again, my name is Lamont Smith, better known as the Horror Miser Monty G. And always remember, horror rules. I'll see you guys